going on? This is DJ Cutt, and today I'm going to talk about the different tripods, mounts, different ways that I set up my cameras and move my cameras at my different events and different situations that I can use them in. So the first thing I'm going to have is we have the Zion crane, and this is a stabilizer for the camera. There's a bunch of different options to move your camera, whether you're following a bride in the room, just trying to move around. This is a very, very good way to get good, steady, moving shots. All right, so the next piece of equipment that I'm going to talk about is this right here. This is the Manfrotto 190X, and this is a 502 HD head. I have one of these, and this is a very heavy duty video head. And so some of the features it has a locking mechanism on the inside that stops it from moving any direction this way. And then it also has a lock on this side, and that is to tighten up this from moving. So after you get it where you want it, this right here, that locks down. So it has two different locking mechanisms, one from panning, and then you have a locking mechanism for tilting. And then down on the bottom, you can tighten up the drag of how fast it pans. And then you have a button on the, or a dial on the side to, when you tighten it up, how fast you'll make this thing tilt up and down to help you get smoother shots. So I have one of these. This is the bigger head. I will set this up somewhere in the room, and this will be my main video head that I use for one of my cameras beforehand. If I want to get any kind of shots that are moving where I'm panning and tilting, this is the set of legs that I go to throughout the room. So that's one of them, and I usually have 3 tripods set up. They're stationary on site, and I'll get into that why. All right, so the next thing we have here is a monopod, and this is the Benro monopod. When I got it, it was pretty cheap. The reason why I got it has very, very nice locking mechanisms. You can see it has this base down here, so you can step on this, or you can use it to get nice smooth shots back and forth. When I'm doing a lot of B-roll beforehand, this is what I use. The ceremony, I'll use this getting up close, getting low, steady shots, and so this gets a fair amount of use. I like it because I can zoom in, and then I can do different angles, panning up and down. You know, you can go all different directions. So this gets a fair amount of use, especially when I'm doing like the dance party and I want some nice steady shots. Edelkrone slider, and what this does is it is a sliding track that slides back and forth to help get really, really steady shots. I use this for a lot of reveals. I'll pretty much go in like that and do different things. So this is a really, really cool tool. I like it that it locks, and then that way, once it locks, then you can use it like a normal tripod head, and you don't have to worry about this going back and forth. So it has a couple different options. This set of legs can be, you don't have to get it perfectly level with this setup, because you can take this ball joint here and lock it level where you need it. So usually when I'm on site, I'll have at least 3 set of legs with heads on them. And the reason why I do that is when I'm doing the ceremony, you're doing some run and gun shooting, and you don't have time to pick your tripod up, move it in different locations. So usually what I'll do is I'll set one off to the side, I'll have one in the back of the room, and then I'll have one you know, up close, and then you have the Zion crane for your steady shot going back and forth. So usually what I do is I use the Zion crane as the bride is walking up and she's entering. That's when I will use the crane. After that's over, I won't use it till the very end when she's walking away. Then usually in the back of the room, I'll set up, you know, one of the bigger ones, and I'll put a 70 to 200 on there, and then it's fixed there. And once those tripods are set up, they don't move. So that way I can easily take my camera off and switch it in between different tripods and wherever I need it. So that's why I have multiple tripod setups, and it just makes it easier when I'm doing run and gun and shooting, that I don't have to pick the tripod up, set it down, re-level it. Once I have the 3 where I need them, then I can pick the camera up, and it just makes the ceremony go smoother when I'm trying to get a lot of different angles, or when I'm the only one on site trying to do a wedding by myself. So one of the things that I use a lot of, and this thing is amazing. It is the cheapest of them all. It is a little Manfrotto. And on my tripods, you notice they all have the quick release plate, so I can pull the camera off or whatever I want on them really, really quick. So a lot of times when I'm doing these kind of videos, I will put my recorder on this, and then that way I can angle it towards my mouth, and it will usually be just out of the line of the camera. So that's really good for that. Or when I'm doing like vlog videos where I want to set my camera on a table that's really close to me, and then I can take this and then I can level the camera. So I'll take a camera like this, and then I can either hold it out to get some video footage, level it, or I can put it on the table across from me and it looks like I'm having a conversation with somebody. Or most of my videos, I will put my other camera on this, and it's a good enough distance, a good enough height that I can, you know, talk on camera. It looks like I'm having a conversation. So these are all the tools that I use to either move my camera or just set up in different locations when I'm doing run and gun shooting. So I will give a link in the description to all the different pieces of equipment that I use for my video down there.